Return to that story where Mexican officials have arrested a suspect as they investigate the massacre of 9 Americans in a highway ambush. CNN's Patrick Ottman joins me from Mexico City. Patrick, Mexico's government vowing to bring the attackers to justice.
Yes, I think you were asking me how close are they to bringing the suspects to justice, and not any closer, unfortunately. They have some idea, perhaps, of the cartels involved, but this is a very complicated landscape. You have cartels that are fractured, that are have alliances, then essentially go to war with one another. And so Mexican officials today said that they believed that this family of Mormons who have lived all their lives in this area, that perhaps they were caught between two warring cartels and that they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But some of the family members said that they did not believe that this was a remote area, that they had no warning before that this group of assailants opened up fire on them with military-grade weapons, that they were not aware of any kind of combat that had been going on between the cartels that day, and they actually live in a very peaceful area. They say they suspect that they might have been targeted for a variety of different reasons, including the fact that over the years, this group of Mormons, this community there in northern Mexico, has resisted the cartels and has had members of the community kidnapped, and has even had members of the community killed by the cartels and spoken out against the cartels. So it could perhaps have been some form of retribution. Nobody really knows at this point because the details are so scarce.
Yeah, and Patrick, give us a sense of the likelihood that the US offer, Donald Trump's offer of help, might be taken up by Mexican authorities. Is there any chance of that in terms of taking on the cartels?
It seems unlikely, because what Donald Trump was offering was to send the U.S. military across the border to, as he put it, to wipe out the cartels. And that's a very sensitive issue here in Mexico, where, of course, there was a war between Mexico and the United States, where Mexico lost quite a bit of its territory 100 or so years ago. So there are some sensitivities over sovereignty, and certainly for U.S. forces to wade into these lawless areas where you do have heavily armed groups battling it out also doesn't seem perhaps like the best idea. But Mexican officials have said that they will share information with the FBI, that perhaps the FBI can help them on the northern side of the border, on the U.S. side, because these weapons, they believe, that were used in this attack actually came from the United States, as happens so often here when you see weapons of war, M16s and long rifles of the like, used in these combat scenarios between Mexican cartels and law enforcement here. A lot of times, most of the times perhaps, the weapons actually come from the United States. So there is going to be some coordination and some cooperation, but it will remain an investigation by the Mexican authorities here.
Patrick Ottman, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again, hopefully, over coming days.